All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the post-game show of the Third Banner Pod. We had to number this one as part of the continuity as part of the canon after that beatdown of Notre Dame. Guys, we are all high on life tonight. Can't believe the Cards pulled off such a devastating win. I mean, it was basically controlled there in that second half by the Cards. So, how about it, guys? I'm high on life.
It's unbelievable. First off, props to the crowd, man. Props to the crowd. I was at a wedding tonight. I couldn't get out of the wedding in time. I kind of am glad because a part of me thought I could get out of there in time tonight and make it. But the wedding kind of dragged on, and I was looking at the time, and I was like, you know what? I couldn't have made it. So it makes me feel a little better about not being able to be there. But I could tell on the TV, man, like people in the Discord were there in the tailgating saying it feels different, man. It's just, you can feel it in the air, and that's what they all were saying from down there. They said, well, you can feel something different. The vibe is real.
Mm-hmm.
And then like as soon as the TV came on, and you know what? Props to the announcers. The announcers from the moment that the pregame show started, they said Louisville's different. When it's rocking, it is rocking, and they absolutely fed into the frenzy. Props to them. They knew. And props to the crowd that was able to make it out tonight. I mean, I almost get emotional talking about it, man. It was unreal to be a Louisville fan for as long as we have and to see that. You can't put into words how special that was, man. So props to you guys, man. Props to the atmosphere. Props to the athletic department for pumping out all week. That freaking video they released last night was the best one I've seen yet. I know the Ali video, but I feel like they released that like before the game. So I don't count that as like a leading up and during the week. Just everything just lined up. And then of course the team brought it. The coaching staff brought it. Ron English, you're a bad motherfucker, man. I've been worried. I was skeptical because of what I saw at Purdue. You didn't blitz very much there. You brought it tonight, man. You brought it against North Carolina State. You ramped it up tonight. The guys brought pressure. We focused in on Estime. Estime couldn't do a damn thing, and that right there was the biggest key of the game. I'm trying to keep my voice down. I got my stepdaughter behind me here, so if I sound like I'm not hyped, no, that's why. I am very hyped. Welcome, everybody. We're already getting a full group of people in here. Captain Hampton, Jason, Uncle Larry, good to see you. Slava, man, I know you get Trent, you're in here. I'm going to pass it off to you guys, man. Oh, my gosh.
I am so jealous of all you guys in the chat talking about the experience because I've been there for a lot of big games, but living down here in Texas now, it's been harder to get back to go to a game. And that crowd on TV tonight came across as it just made me feel like that must have been the loudest a U of L crowd has ever been, because that crowd on TV was coming through just so intimidating and so loud. I would give anything to go back in time and find a way to get there, because I am just so jealous of you guys.
Yeah, shout out to the crowd for all of you that went. You all you held up your end of the bargain, man. You all were awesome all night. We heard you on the TV. What a win, guys. We've talked about it before. We talked about it in the offseason. This is why we brought Jeff Brohm here. This is why we brought him home, to be in big games like this and to win. You guys know from in the Discord and talking to me over the last few years, like I was number one on the Jeff Brohm train. I wanted him back in, 2017. It didn't happen, but I wanted to, as soon as I knew that Cincinnati was doing what they were going to do, I wanted Jeff back. I wanted Jeff back, and thank you, Cincinnati. Without you, this would not be possible. So, but anyway,
Mr. Cunningham.
Yes. But this is why we brought Jeff back, and I'm just like I said, I was all over the Jeff Brohm train, but I didn't even think stuff like this was possible. Tonight was awesome. We're all going to remember this for years to come, and what a win! What a win!
Neil said that game will create lifelong Cards fans. He's right. I
Yes.
didn't
that's
think about it
true.
like that, but that's true, man. We've needed something. We've needed something like this for both of the major sports. Obviously, we know what the other one's going through right now, but football, although it hasn't been nearly as bad, it has not been where we have seen it get to, like under Petrino and Strong, early Petrino, and then of course Lamar. And it just seems like we just needed one of these two sports to take off. And there's been so much pressure on Jeff Brohm. Not even fair, but because basketball has been so bad, it's like everybody was turning to football,
Mhm.
hoping, clinging to is Brohm really the real deal or not? And here we are. We are 6-0, boys. We are 6-0. I think we're going to hit around 15 when the new polls come out. Maybe a little bit higher depending on who loses up there. I don't know, but I think we're going to be around there. Seeing Katie George, Jack Harlow, and Jeff Brohm at the end of the game on the field together for that interview, 3 Louisville legends.
Surreal.
I don't know if Katie George is technically from Louisville or not. She's from
She
Kentucky. I
is.
know
Yeah,
that.
she's from Louisville.
She's from Louisville? Okay, so 3
Yeah.
Louisville legends. Jason Baker says Baker Mayfield is a genius. Well, it must be because you guys share the same name. But no, seriously, man. Baker Mayfield.
And Pat McAfee.
He's having a good year. And his good year continues with the Louisville luck, man.
Guys, I have to give another shout out. I know you already did, Kyle, but I have to give another shout out to the defense because that defense was just awesome. That play by Alderman I think it was in the third quarter.
It was
On
third
a
quarter.
third down run where he
My
just stuffed that
guy Jalen.
I mean, he just came through there and just stuffed the run, and in just a huge third down play. So, I mean,
And Ash,
that may have been the play of the game, to be honest, because it was still tight at that point.
to piggyback off that, Ash, we have to give Ron English his flowers. You know, I know they ended up getting that touchdown late, but he had our guys ready to go from opening kick. They were ready to go. They knew the scouting report. You could tell that they focused on Estime early. He did not get going at any point tonight.
No.
And his decisions and his blitzes, they disguised them well. Sometimes they made it known they were coming, and Notre Dame just couldn't stop it. And that was the difference on defense. You put pressure on Sam Hartman, and he coughed the ball up quite a bit. And you have to tip your hat to Ron English and his defense. They were phenomenal tonight. Hats off to them. Just an awesome performance.
Neil with another good tag saying the D line has been MVP of the season so far. I think you're probably right. You know, you might make a case for Jawar Jordan, but yeah, the D line, I can't really. Yeah, they've been incredible. And with the injuries we've had on the D line off and on, it's just incredible that we're doing as well as we have. By the way, Ben Perry coming back in the game, that was great to see. You know,
Yeah, it was. That
everybody
was a
seemed,
scary moment.
everybody seemed to think that he tore his ACL immediately.
And Neil with another good
in
take
the
about
live
Brohm
chat, which when I have to tell people to calm down, that's not good. But really, I was trying to convince myself.
Yeah, I thought we were doing the calm down, and then you're in there, everybody calm down. But no, that was awesome.
I was basically really telling myself, like,
see Ben come back out there and make a big play. Like I said, Ron English, you deserve your flowers tonight, man. You had your defense ready to go.
44 yards rushing.
I would not have predicted that before the game.
I did predict if we were going to win, we needed to slow down their running attack. But even I said, like, you can't stop it altogether, but you can't let them do what they've been doing. Well, apparently you can't stop it altogether because they did. I mean, and the thing is about Estime, they were hammering that dude. And that's the only way you can bring him down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw Brownlee hit him a couple of times and just rocked him.
Yeah.
Somebody else hit him. I'm trying to think. Maybe it was Cam Kelly, and I think they both went out hurt. Estime went out, Kelly went out because it was such a huge collision. But like, that's the only way you can stop a guy like that. It reminded me of when Baltimore finally shut down Derrick Henry that second time they met in the playoffs. Like, you have to like hammer them and hammer them and hammer them. Sometimes 3 dudes have to hammer them at once. And I mean that somebody in my group chat, a friend of mine was saying, well, maybe he's an IU fan. He was saying, well, maybe Notre Dame's just a little overrated. No. Estime
No,
is the real deal. Their offensive line is the real deal. Sam Hartman's a good quarterback. Now I know how he's played against us twice, but I mean he had 15 touchdowns and 0 interceptions going into this game. He was great at Wake Forest. We beat a really good team. And on offense, Jack Plummer played within himself. The receivers were the only little bit of a disappointment. They dropped a few key passes again, and that's been a recurring theme now. But the cornerbacks for Notre Dame are top notch. So for Jack Plummer to be able to, for the receivers to be able to create the separation they need to get, Jack Plummer to be able to deliver the ball more often than not against those cornerbacks, I mean, that's a really good football team we beat tonight. Make no mistake about it. And it
didn't
has
just
nothing to
beat.
do with an off night or anything.
We
We
didn't
brought it
just beat
tonight.
them. We dominated. I
We
mean,
brought it tonight.
let's take a look at the box score a little bit. If I had told you that Louisville would not only win the rushing battle, but they would win it with 185 yards on the ground versus 44 for Notre Dame, I don't think any of you would have believed me.
Mm-mm.
And that's the story of the game. Notre Dame is a very physical team. They love to run. We've talked about Estime before. You know, they run him and it sets up Sam Hartman. They could not get anything on the ground. Notre Dame, 28 carries, 44 yards rushing with a 1.6 average. And our rush defense was phenomenal all night long.
Also, I'm going to share the link to our StreamYard for anybody that wants to jump on here. You don't have to stay on here, but if you want to jump on here, provide some feedback for those of us
Yeah,
that
give your
couldn't make
take.
it tonight. Give your takes, man. I mean, because it's one thing to see it on TV and see how great you guys showed out, but it's a whole different ball game from your guys' point of view being there. So, you know, you don't anybody can get on from their phone. It's not like you have to have all this equipment and stuff. It's just like calling into the radio. So, you know, you get on here for a little bit if you'd like, talk about what you experience. I can only imagine even leading up to the game, tailgating, being out there, like just seeing the videos, like the card march. Oh my God. Like it just looked incredible. We looked like a legit, like one of the, like a Clemson type of fan base
Yeah,
tonight.
it looked legit tonight. I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been one of the more vocal people about how I felt we didn't need the expansions, but the empty seats for the Murray States and the Boston colleges were worth it for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was awesome, guys. My hats off to the people that were there.
And people
The
were in their
show that,
seats at kickoff.
yeah, I mean, it
I couldn't
was just
believe it.
unbelievable.
I thought you could sell out every seat and have 65,000 fans in there, and I still thought you'd only have about 40,000 in their seats at kickoff, and everybody else just be wandering around. Not tonight. I couldn't believe
No,
it. As soon as the cameras turned on our game and scanned around the stadium, it was packed, man. So good job, guys. Good grief. And I don't buy that number either. 59,081 is what they reported. But I've seen people say, people told me that they weren't scanned in when they walked in. They just walked in, which is kind of odd to me. But to me, it just seemed like a lot more than that. It seemed to me like we were in the 60s. But either way, I don't care. Whatever. If the reported number was accurate, so be it. It was a great crowd. You guys really did a good job.
yeah, I
Oh
mean, that was
man.
unbelievable. I mean, um, the pressure that Rieger and Purrier put on Hartman tonight was
Mm-hmm.
such a huge difference. I know we've talked a lot about the defense, but
We
man,
gotta keep
I
these
just keep
dudes
thinking
healthy,
back to
man.
plays. The pressure that those guys put on him all night long were the difference in the game. Uh, it was just unreal.
Purrier lived in the backfield all night long.
Yeah,
He was awesome. And to make it even better, Notre Dame has one of the best offensive lines in the country, and they got first round picks. They have real NFL talent on that offensive line.
Yeah, Slava said he witnessed that there were fans who couldn't get their ticket pulled up because of the Wi-Fi, and they just let them in. So it's like, they didn't; those tickets did not get scanned in. So that 59,082 number. I mean, how many people do you think, whenever it got so crowded, the Wi-Fi quit? How many people do you think they let in there that they couldn't even scan?
Mm-hmm.
So, it was incredible. I kind of hate that because the record, like when you go back in the record books, like what's the most fans you've ever had? It's gonna say 59,082, which is still good, but that doesn't even tell the real story. But where does this game rank of all time games? I don't want to be a prisoner of the
hard.
moment, so I'm gonna try not to
Yeah.
be, but
It's top 3.
I would say
And now you
the
saying all time
blackout
home
game was the
games or just
biggest.
all games total?
The
Oh yeah,
blackout,
well that makes a difference.
Yeah.
well, yeah, I'm gonna say the blackout game was the biggest. As far as Louisville home games, but this is up there. It's got to rank right on par with the 2016 Florida State, I would think.
For
I
home
don't.
games,
I
yeah.
watched that. Yeah, I watched that
You
from
could
afar.
argue that Florida State was undefeated, but it was earlier. I mean, Notre Dame was basically undefeated. Or a stupid choke job away from being undefeated. So I think it's on par with that. Um, maybe if I revisit this in a couple of weeks, I might even move it up. Crowd atmosphere, it ranks right up there with the West Virginia game, in my opinion. I was at the West Virginia blackout game, but seeing this tonight, I think it was right up there. Slava says he thinks FSU was number 1, but this was number 2. So, I think they're neck and neck. It's hard to say.
For home games, it's definitely got to be top 3 to 4 at
As
minimum.
far as all-time games, we had the game against Florida, Sugar Bowl. I think that's got to rank way up there. The West Virginia game, the Florida State game. It's
I mean, the
somewhere. I think
Fiesta
it's
Bowl in '90. I mean, if you're putting all time, that's why I don't like putting it into all time category because you
Yeah.
start putting the importance of those bowl games, and it goes pretty far down the list pretty quick. But
Well,
if you're
for
talking about
me,
home games,
a game like this, because we're still undefeated and it was a top 10 team, I'm going to put it above most of our bowl wins, except for maybe Florida. And, the Fiesta Bowl is a little bit before my time. So, Ash, I'll take your word on that one. I know it was
I mean,
Alabama, but were they
we were
really
just
good or was it just kind of like a mediocre Alabama? I don't know.
well, really, it was more than the significance of it wasn't. Alabama was not as big as what they are now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were in kind of a downswing, but I mean, it's still the Fiesta Bowl. I mean, the Fiesta Bowl was always big, and Louisville football had just kind of come out of that stretch where I mean they were losing regular to like FCS opponents, like getting blown out.
Yeah.
I mean, Louisville football in the '80s was terrible. So I
Yeah,
mean
that's
that
true.
it was just a big message to the rest of the country where it was going.
Well,
I
home
was
games, I'm putting this top 3 home games. And you
I
can
was
tie it
at
with
the Florida
FSU. You
State.
can rank it right
Yeah.
behind them, but you put West Virginia first. I think you have to. It was number 3 and number 5, and we were an offsides away from a national championship game,
Yeah.
and that's without Michael Bush, by the way, who was injured after he had like 250 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half of the UK game. He got hurt in the third quarter. That's without him. So I put that game first. And then after that, you can argue till you're blue in the face about which one was more important between Florida
2002
State.
FSU game is definitely up there.
Yeah, the Hurricane
That's
2016,
true. That was a big
2016
one.
FSU. I was at that game. That crowd was phenomenal as well, and how we won in such convincing fashion. That's always going to stick with me.
Here's the thing about 2002 FSU. I was at that game as well. I was probably 13, 14, helped tear the goalpost down. We actually stumbled into that game. Now, we were before the season started, we were predicted to be really good, and we were hoping to be undefeated. And I'm pretty sure we went into that game 2-2. I'm pretty sure we're 1-2. I don't remember, but I know we had 2 losses, one to UK in the first game, and that while the win itself was huge, I can't put it up there with the other FSU game where we were undefeated and College Game Day was there, and I can't put it with this one where we're also undefeated because it was a huge game. But us winning that game, I don't even think we got ranked after that because we were like we went to 3-2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like the game itself isolated was huge, but in the grand scheme of things, I just can't rank it. When you're trying to keep an undefeated season alive and you got a top 10 team, that's huge, man. That's huge.
Well, and you were talking about the 02 team, right?
Right.
Well, and that team actually would have a lot of people may not, like yourself, Todd, may not know, and then people like more closer to our age, Kyle and myself may not remember, is that 2002 team actually had a lot of expectation going into the season.
Well, that's what I was saying, and then we lost.
They actually were that was actually a disappointing season overall.
It was. We went 7-6.
I mean, we had people predicting that we would go to the Rose Bowl that year in the summer. So like,
yeah, we lost our very first game. But anyway, bottom line is, got to be in the top 5 at the worst. Top five home games of all time, and you could argue top 5 games of all time. It'd be closer to 5. You could argue it. Now you could argue otherwise, but I'm not going to pull at hairs here. All I know is, like, for the kids, let's say you're 20 years old or younger, or even 25 maybe. This has got, 25, you're starting to get into Florida State 2016. But 20 years and younger, this is probably the biggest game you've watched.
Yeah.
Unless you maybe you were super young in 2016 and remember that, which is great. But a lot of people, this is their big game. And then even those super young kids now, this is the game that gets them on board.
Think about Mark in a Discord.
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, and then Neil says today's win is special because it's a new era and how important it is for the program. This was needed badly. And this kind of harkens back to something that Kyle mentioned earlier, and I'll kind of reiterate in a different way, in that, our fan base has been beaten down so badly over the last 5 or 6 years.
We
haven't really had anything to really get excited and celebrate since Lamar. I mean, if you really get down and think about it, because even like some of those basketball teams, like with Donovan Mitchell, they were not. Donovan has been great as a pro, but like some of the teams he was on at U of L were frustrating.
They were just okay. They weren't super great.
So like, and then with all the negativity that surrounded our programs in that time since Lamar, and whether it be basketball or football, I mean, it's like we've had a lot of pent up frustration as a fan base. So this was definitely something that it was like tonight, everybody just let loose all that frustration, and it was so needed.
It was a definite morale boost for a fan base that really needed it.
Mark says this is the top moment in his life. You remember? Hey, that's the one. Mark's the one. Ash, he says this is a top moment in his life. He's dead ass serious.
Oh, is that Mark
right there?
I didn't
that
realize
is,
that was.
Yeah,
Ash, Mark's the one that told you.
Mark, come on, use that link. Talk about it.
Ash, you remember Mark was the one in Discord that said he'd never seen us. What was it he said? I don't remember.
He said he had never seen us win an NCAA tournament basketball game.
Yeah, so it's
and we were like, what?
And Mark's in his 20s. He's young, but he's in his 20s. So it's like there's a lot of people like that. And it's like, they're looking for a reason to like be like, my God. Like, I mean, for me, it was the 2002 Florida State. It was the West Virginia game and football and basketball, because we had the epic West Virginia game then. And then, of course, you have the championship game in basketball, which that's why we're the third banner, because we still have that bitch in our hearts, but the real third banner. And so we had those memories, but this, for a lot of people, this is going to be the first cornerstone blueprint imprinted in their mind of what it means to be a Louisville fan. And when they 20, 30 years from now, they'll be like, they'll talk about this game. They will.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and I'm rooting for Notre Dame to go undefeated now. I hope they beat USC next week.
10-2 for them. That'd make us look real good.
Yeah. I'm rooting for them to go undefeated, man.
And I know this might seem like hyperbole, what Macro put in the chat here about Ron English might F around and be defensive coordinator of the year.
He might be.
But like, our defense has been stout.
Look at the scores.
If we end up making a run to the ACC title game, I mean, he's going to be in that conversation. So
just think, our worst defense was against Georgia Tech in the first half. It's our worst defense we've had.
And like I said, I really hate to keep harping on it, but it's time to give him his flowers. He had a game plan tonight. His defense was ready to go from the opening kickoff. They knew their assignments, and it was an incredible performance. So hats off to you, Ron, and your defense. You all were phenomenal all night long.
Just goes to show you how bad Cragthorpe was. You had Ron English. Couldn't do anything with him. But
He was looking
anyway,
across at the
that
other
aside.
side of the field and looking at our offense, going like, "What is that?"
Oh man, I tell you, yeah.
Yeah,
Trent
it's a
says this is the
little
best
too
game.
much there, Trent.
Trent says
You don't
easily
think
the
he wants
best
that?
Louisville game he's ever attended. So, yeah. Man, pull up those tweets, Ty. I saw you said you had
Let's
some
say,
tweets in
are
the
we ready
chamber.
for some
Yeah, share 'em
post-game
out.
tweets here?
Let's see the post-game tweets,
Yeah,
man.
we got a few. Louisville football coming in clutch with the pictures here in the locker room.
You might have to zoom that in.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, nice. Oh man, that looks
They're
awful.
Oh, wait a
having.
minute. Let's back out of this. We got somebody joining us. We got to take this immediately.
All right, we'll
We'll
revisit.
put that on pause.
Ross is joining us.
All right.
Ross.
Ross. What up?
What's going on, Ross?
What's going on, guys?
Buddy.
How about that game?
Well, didn't get to see much of it, not gonna lie, but I
hope
was
you
getting
recorded it.
updates. I was getting updates. I know that it was like 7-7 or 10-7 Notre Dame at halftime, and then next thing I knew, it was like 30-13 U of L with 7 minutes to go. So it just sounds like we took over that shit. Like we were on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll tell you. I'm gonna bring Captain Hampton on. He's in there in a second.
We got
but
a caller in here, so
we got a caller in here. But before that, real quick, I'm gonna say that I was scared when we had the ball before halftime. We miss a field goal. And I'm like, well, at least we get the ball back in the second half, right? Very first offensive play, Jamari Thrash fumbles the ball. I'm like, okay, You're at home. You're down to Notre Dame. You've lost the lead, and you just lost. You bookended the half with the ball, and you did nothing with it except turn it over. And I thought right then, boys, we're in some deep shit. And that's when the defense just stepped up and they kept stopping the steam right in his tracks, man. It's like the guy couldn't do anything. Like, I think he might be the best running back in the country. We held him to 44 yards. The whole team, the 44 yards rushing, Ross.
Hey, let me ask you something. So, when we did the pod Wednesday, I said the best way to stop a running back like that is to not let him get his down. Like, don't let him get his momentum. Like, were we getting pressure and getting in the backfield to where?
Yeah, but see, what's easier said than done with that, Ross, is that with a guy like him, you need to get 2 or 3 guys hitting him and stopping, because one guy can't do it. But we did almost every time. Like, you'd have a defensive tackle that would hit him, and then all of a sudden Jarvis Brownlee would come in there like a freaking missile, just smack right into him. Cam Kelly laid out, and they both ended up hurt. It was like a wrestling match where the 2 guys go through the table. That's what that play looked like. I mean, they were some headhunters. They were like, if somebody's going to beat us, it's not going to be a steammate tonight.
Yeah.
Y'all want to go ahead and bring on Captain Hampton?
Bring him on.
Hey, bring him on.
What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Were you at the game tonight?
No, I wasn't, unfortunately, but there in spirit.
What'd you think, though?
Oh, incredible. I don't know if you guys, I called my shot earlier.
You look like you're at a rave, man.
No, I stream on Twitch a little bit, but
okay,
this is my my setup here, but might as well be at a rave, right?
Is it Captain Hampton on Twitch?
Yep, Captain Hampton on Twitch. I stream Retro Bowl. I'm in a college league as, of course, Louisville Cardinals. I've won 2 national championships, but anyway, I called my shot today. I said we were going to win big. It's been a while to leave, and I said, Jeff Brohm's here. He's going to show us why we brought him here, and I think he's going to fulfill Schnellenberger's prophecy. I think he is the only variable is time, and I think that's what we got with Jeff Brohm. He's a winner. Couldn't be happier to have him.
Brom's playing a top 10 team. I mean, my goodness, the ability to get these guys amped up it's incredible, man.
Really. Yeah.
I
And
can't
then
honestly. I'm gonna tell you right now. Like, I was busy this evening, but I can't wait. I can't wait to watch the replay. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to it so much. Like, I mean, there was part of me. I was like, this is the type that like this is the reason we brought Brohm here.
Absolutely.
Like these are the games that Brohm gets up for. This is the game that Brohm gets his dudes ready to play. You might be the underdog, right? But his guys don't believe that. They don't think that they're the underdog. Like, he is a great motivator, and that is something that he has gotten from Howard. That was something that Howard was very, very good about doing. Like, Howard could get guys ready and make them believe like you belong out there. Like, you're better, you're just as good as they are. So, man, I mean, I can't imagine. I literally can't imagine what it was like in that stadium tonight. Like, I bet it was just absolutely electric.
It was wild just from sitting at home. Like
Just
when I
watching it
got
on
back from
TV,
the
you
wedding,
feel it.
my wedding did end up running over, so I feel less like I could have just like hauled ass there. I don't think I could have. But
Yeah.
when I was watching on my phone as much as I could without being, I don't know, it's really hard because you don't want to be like not present, but at the same time, like I don't want to miss everything either. So it's like kind of hard. So as soon as I got the opportunity to head down the road to my house, I cut the hell out of there. I mean, I kind of got irritated because my wife's like, "All right, take me home on the 4-wheeler with you." Okay, she's like, "I'm ready to go," and then she starts chitter chatting for about 10 minutes. I'm like,
You're like, I
"We
gotta
gotta
go.
go now. You don't understand." Like, she doesn't watch sport. I'm like, "You just don't get it, man. I need to get home now." You want to be able, if you can't be at the game, which is already frustrating enough, you at least want to be sitting in your house where you can jump up and down and yell. You don't want to be around a bunch of people who probably don't care, because I live up in central Indiana. They don't even know about the game unless they're rooting for Notre Dame. So it's like, I don't even want to be there. Like, so, you get home and just sitting at home, you could see how electrifying it was. It was just incredible, man. Big Cardinal fan says he thinks we'll be ranked around 20, or he's asking if you think we'll be. If we're ranked at number 20, I will be disappointed. I think we need to be
I
around
think we'll be higher than
15.
that.
I think
Now,
we
I
need
do
to be
think the
around
haters
15.
will come out and be like, "Oh, Notre Dame was just overrated," and try to detract from our
There's
win.
no way, man.
But I do think that we'll be in that top 15.
We need Notre Dame to turn around and beat USC, because that would
I
shut
don't
that up
think
within a week.
I think we'll be just outside. I think we'll be 16 or 17. That's where I think.
Yeah, and that's fine. I say 15. That's like where I'm basing that. Maybe we get some good losses out of the people in front of us that where we can move up, but just somewhere around there. 20 would be a disappointment.
Yeah, no, I think 20 is too low. Plus, you look at like who lost in front of us. Like, we're moving up.
UK.
Yeah, like
Darn.
Caffin's. Hey, Caffin's didn't really like come to fruition today, did it? They got
Captain Hampton, we're going to pull up some tweets here in a second, but did
yeah,
you have any more feedback?
yeah. I didn't. I don't know if I missed you guys, but man, how about Plummer there? He that North Carolina State game to this game was night and day. They mentioned on TV, but you can tell the coaches really worked with him, and he was a real game manager this time. I jokingly said the play of the game was his intentional grounding. That he learned to throw the ball away this time. So
Yeah.
it's no fun to learn from losing, but that North Carolina State we learned from winning. So, but yeah, thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks, man. We
Thanks
appreciate
for
you
coming
being
on, Cap
on.
Dave. We appreciate it.
Hey,
Yeah.
All right. We'll see
McKay.
you, man. All right. So the thing about Jack Plummer, he's only got one more thing to prove to me, and that's that he can do this on the road. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. Because he
Yep.
has struggled on the road. But hey, his worst two games last year and the season before at two different schools were when he went to South Bend and played Notre Dame. So he did get him at home, but he redeemed himself tonight. And Jack Plummer's stats don't look as great as they could have, because once again the receivers drop some key passes, and that's the one thing I want to see change.
Yeah.
From them, man, they got to start. Which in the second half, I didn't see, other than the Jamari Thrash first play where he fumbled it. I didn't see a lot of that. So
Well,
we just got to put together there. But hey, that's fine. We our defense had our back, and then our offense got it rolling. And that's the thing. That's the thing when you don't feel like you have to score on every single possession, and I'm starting to feel that way finally.
Yeah.
For a long time, I just had this paranoia from watching them at Purdue and English at Purdue, and they didn't rush to, they didn't bring a lot of pressure. And in the first few games for us, they didn't bring a lot of pressure. I just always felt like if we don't score, there's a chance we're going to give up a huge defensive play. But now I'm starting to think like, okay, we didn't score, we'll be fine. Defense has our back. Like I've gained that confidence in Ron English in this defense. And I mean, after tonight, how could you not? How could you not?
And going back to Jack, sorry, Ash, but going back to Jack, the stats don't look all that crazy, but that's also in part because the running game was so effective, and we never really put Jack in a position tonight where he had to throw a lot, make any huge plays in the passing game. Jack was solid. He was solid. He didn't do anything to lose the game. And that's all we needed because the run game was dominant all night long. We averaged 4.5 yards a carry. Jaws was getting going, and we've talked obviously ad nauseum about the defense and how great they were, but another unit that needs a real shout out was the offensive line. They were phenomenal all night long.
Good point.
Really physical at the point of attack. They got a lot of pushback on that Notre Dame defensive line, which is very strong.
That defensive tackle that was defensive player of the week, who had 19 tackles in the last 2 games as a defensive tackle, and he had all those quarterback pressures, forced fumbles. He didn't do anything tonight.
Nope.
Yep.
I don't know who lined up across from him because I really didn't. That's the thing. He was so quiet. I didn't even think to look for him. He wasn't doing anything. So whoever it was that was lined up across from him, I'm sure Trent knows if he's still sitting in there. He killed it tonight. He absolutely killed it tonight.
The offensive line was phenomenal tonight, and hats off to them. They got the run game going early and often, and I think it really helped Jack where he didn't, like I said, he wasn't ever put in a position where he had to make something happen. Just always, we typically, for the most part, all night played in really manageable down distance. It took a while for it to get going in the second half, but once it did, it was over.
Yeah, and then one of the cool wrinkles, because you guys talked about the offensive line and we talked a little bit about Plummer. One of the cool wrinkles that we saw tonight that I don't remember seeing in some of the previous games was that option play that we ran. We actually ran it several times,
and it was effective pretty much.
And
every time.
We gained yards on that every time. So I'm looking, I hats off to Jeff Brohm for pulling that out because that was something that I didn't know to expect. So. And Plummer ran that really well.
Somebody went out on us.
No, we had another guest visitor, Ross's.
Ross's dog,
Moose dog, back over here. That thing is huge.
Hey, so I did want to say we had a Rivals 100 2024 commit. Bronte Johnson he suddenly decided to visit Louisville unless he backed out the last second. But as of yesterday, the talk was Notre Dame was caught off guard. He was coming here to visit from our side to watch this game. Now, if he made this visit, he's committed to Notre Dame. He's a top 100 guy. I don't know what position he played. I was trying to figure it out on there. It doesn't say. But he's a top 100 recruit. You got to think he liked what he saw, right? Mm-hmm. From the crowd, from the
what could you dislike?
What in the world? I mean, from the playing on the field, obviously our guys play. They believe in the staff. Everybody says they believe in the staff. We've had players on this pod talk about how much they believe in the staff. And while I truly believed them, you can tell once they get on the field if they truly do or not. And they do. They absolutely believe in the staff. The first time it was evident was when we came all the way back and beat Georgia Tech when we could have just been dead in the water right then.
Yeah.
And I mean, you see it. You just see it. Like they truly believe and they just soak it all in. And I mean, they'll go to war for this staff. And that you got to love it, man. And so a recruit coming in to watch who's committed to Notre Dame caught them off guard coming to our side to watch this game. I don't know if it'll come to fruition or not as far as a commitment or a flip, but, you know, it can't hurt. I tell you that. So, Ty, you want to go back to those tweets we were going to pull up?
Yeah, let's go back to them. Let me pull this back up.
Thanks for joining us, Chris. Yeah, it looks like they're having a great time, man.
How about this one?
6'8".
Oh, man.
What a picture.
Jack Harlow. He was all over the. I feel like there was.
Yeah,
10,
he was having a
I
ball.
feel like there was 10 Jack Harlows tonight. They showed him in the seat. They showed him on the field. They showed him in the locker room. They showed him at the card march. It's like this guy was everywhere, man.
This picture's awesome. You see Jeff's family back here in the background. That's awesome. You love to see that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do they have any
They
videos?
They do actually.
That's what we want. And we got
this. All right, hold on. Let me get this dialed in. Turn this down just a little bit here. Does this look good?
I heard Frierson
Looks
had a good game.
He did have
Frierson had a big sack, I believe.
He did.
It was a really big sack.
He filled in for Ben Perry's son.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The scene from that locker room tonight is pretty special, man.
And how
What
about
was
Frierson?
what
He's
was-
a guy
what
who
was the-
couldn't find his way at Miami, and he's really starting to fit in with us. I mean, that's good too. Transfer portal recruiting. You got to see guys like this. And a guy like Frierson, if he continues to do what he's doing, and then you go into the next portal offseason, you're like, well, look what I did with this guy. Miami couldn't even get him on the field. Like they couldn't find he was a tweener, is what they always said. They just didn't know what they were doing. You might have the same problem. Why don't you come to Louisville? We'll take care of you. I mean, it's a pretty good pitch when the transfer portal guys are dominating on the field like that, especially when they couldn't do it. They couldn't even get on the field.
So here's the real question here. I just saw this on Louisville's Twitter. They have the post-game presser. Now, do we want to play that? Because I really want to hear it, but I also don't want the feds to be
Is it on Twitter?
It's on Twitter, and it's from
I don't
Louisville's
think we get in
official
trouble with
Twitter.
that.
So I don't know how that'll work.
Yeah, Brent, put it on. I've seen other channels do it that way.
And if you're down, I'm down. So let me get this queued up again.
I mean, you can try to cut us off after beating Notre Dame, top 10 team, going 6-0. We'll find a way around it.
Great day to be a Cardinal. So I'm definitely going to smile right now. Huge victory for our team, a huge victory for this fan base, a huge
Brock's just left.
University, and all the leadership.
Hey, we're all cut up.
Does a tremendous
Yeah, I
job
got it.
directing us in the right direction. So I just think
Oh, man.
our fans were the 12th man. We felt them. Really felt them all week. You know, I read Twitter a little bit. They were ready to go. They expected to win. They wanted to win, and they came ready to win. So I knew we better give them a win. But they were fired up all week, fired up today. They were into the game. You know, we played hard for 60 minutes. The game was close. So for a while, we kind of hung in there and just kind of fed off of our fans. I just think our players came out in the second half. They understood what it meant to not only us, but to the entire town and city and university to win. And, you know, they grinded it out. And we did some great things on defense, getting after the quarterback, making him feel uncomfortable, guarding receivers. We executed better in the second half, had some big plays in the running game, a little more efficient in the passing game. We had the one fumble, but we overcame it. Special teams came through in the second half. So I just think it was, once again, a team effort. we're happy to be where we're at because it is a big win, and we want to enjoy it. And that's what excites us all. So of course, just like I told the team, once you win a game like that, the bar goes from here up to here. So while we want to enjoy it and relax and be around our family and friends, eventually we got to get back to work and understand people can say what they want after winning the game, but every week in college football, if you don't come ready to play, you're not going to win. So we'll have to get back to work.
That is.
Over
I hope the
24
players
hours,
understand
but,
that because the coach
it's
can
a
understand.
Great atmosphere, and it was great for our team and our fans to win that game.
It's definitely great that he recognizes that already after what just happened in that huge win.
Coach, over the years, your teams have been known for, the special plays, the gadget plays, when you've had big time upsets, things of that nature. That's what you've been known for. But tonight it was different. This was just a straight up man for man kind of, meeting them at the line and just pretty much beating down one of the best teams in college football in the second half. What do you think that says about your team?
Well, it's a great win. And yeah, I like big games. Our team likes big games.
Jeff likes big games. We know that.
Can't get up for those. This maybe isn't the sport for you, but you got to come ready to play, and you got to do all the small things. You got to be aggressive. Yes, we didn't run as many trick plays today. I thought this team was guarding us pretty well. It was hard to kind of get some yards, and then we kind of just went to our best players, Jawar and Jamari, and let the others feed off them. Jack was very, very efficient, took care of the ball, threw it away when we.
I talked about trick plays, like he was thinking about how he wanted to run them.
Outside, allowed our receiver a little time to get open. So I just think his maturity level showed up and executed very well. And now you got to give our offensive line credit. These guys play hard, don't get a lot of credit, but we ran the football against a solid defense. We found ways to get yards in the passing game in the second half, and then our special teams came through. And of course, the defense was outstanding.
Jeff, how do you attribute the defensive lines, the progression that it's made? Early on, you guys weren't getting as many sacks, but tonight it seemed like even in your just base rushing, you were able to get pressure and ended up with 5 sacks.
Well, quite honestly, I attribute it to coaching. I think we've been coaching better. I think that as a former player, you know what? I mean, you go out and play as hard as you can, but you have to have a great plan and a great package to help you win. And I think every week we've tweaked that package to guard people tighter, get our hands on people more, challenge receivers and seam routes more, and allow that defense line just a little more time to get in there. And at the same time, I think the blitz package has been more aggressive, and that comes from coaching and planning. So I give Coach Ingles, Coach Hagan, our whole defensive staff a lot of credit. We've continued to slightly tweak things, even when things are working well. And the key is applying pressure to the quarterback and making him feel uncomfortable and not giving up easy completions and making him earn it. So I just think that.
Let's talk about it for a second. Jeff Brohm is a Third Banner podcast listener. He knows. We talked about it for weeks.
That's why they won tonight.
Echoing our exact thoughts. So Jeff Brohm, shout out to you, #1 Third Banner podcast fan. You love to see it.
When we're able to do that, it allows our defense to tee off. And when we can get a lead, it allows our defensive line to tee off. And I just think those guys play hard. We played quite a few guys, and they did a really good job.
And Jeff, you're just talking about the defense, but this is a team. Notre Dame was averaging about 195 yards on the ground. You hold them to 44.
Wow.
Was there anything that you guys saw that you could scheme defensively to stop them, or what exactly led to you guys shutting them down on the ground?
Well, I mean, I couldn't tell you for sure, but for me, yes, we're going to scheme them to stop the run, and you have to do that, or they're going to run you over. They're big up front. They got a big running back, big tight ends, and we were aggressive in our packages against their personnel looks. We were going to make them beat us throwing the football, make them throw it over our head. I think when we got the first interception, the first drive, they probably said, "Oh, maybe we can't throw it over their head as much," and then we applied more pressure. And I just think that.
That's true. That first interception
matters to this point.
Talk your shit, Jeff.
Coaching.
Talk your shit.
Adjusting to the team we're playing, and with that team, in my opinion, you have to stop the run. You have to put a bunch of guys up there, play downhill, stop the tight end, and then get pressure on the quarterback and make the receivers in the passing game beat you. And then, of course, if you can get a lead against a team that plays great defense and runs the football we have the advantage. I think that's what you saw in the second half. Then we were able to kind of tee off a little bit more because we had the lead and we were forcing them to do things that they don't do as much. So to me, that's why it's always important. You got to be good at the passing game and the running game because you never know when you're going to have to use both.
Right.
Jeff, you did talk about the crowd and it being the 12th man. Did you allow yourself to really pay attention? You know, you had Jack Harlow out there, Donovan Mitchell, just so many others, and just the atmosphere.
Jack Harlow follows Jeff Brohm
Did you
around.
allow yourself to kind of look out there?
He's probably behind him right now.
Well, without question, taking the field and seeing all the seats filled, that's what college football is all about. And this is a great city that wants to win championships and be relevant and do a lot of fun things. And we want to try to provide that. And is it always going to be perfect? No, but if you attack it head on and you step up to every challenge, and when you have a setback or failure, get right back up off your butt and do it again, these fans appreciate it. So I think at this point, of course, we're 6-0, and we want to give them something to cheer about and something to want to root for. And I think while we're at a good spot now, of course, it's a one-game season. It's a weekly battle. We got to now do it again. But I know our fans, love football and they love sports and they love teams that play hard and give great effort. And without question, we fed off the fans. They were tremendous tonight.
Macro's talking about the 300-pound, 250
about the play in the
top 254 star defensive lineman.
A weekly comment from Macro.
Macro, we love you, man.
We love to see it. Nevertheless,
he's right.
Well, I'll start with their offensive line.
Right.
First
That's
off,
the next step.
We've got great leadership up front. Brian Hudson, for 2 weeks, hasn't practiced at all. He just plays in the game because he's injured.
Wow.
You know what? Doesn't miss one play.
Wow,
toughness.
that's crazy.
Just toughness. So I can sit up here. And
I hope he can get over
50
that.
minutes about how tough he is. Our other offensive linemen feed off that. We have veterans from last year, Ronaldo Brown and Michael Gonzalez. We've added some newcomers on the starting offensive line at both tackle positions who've done a really good job. They've gelled together. We have some other backups that aren't getting in a whole lot, but they're getting in some. They're continuing to get better, and we're going to need them at some point. So those guys, we do a lot of things offensively, running the ball and throwing the ball. They got to learn a lot. They got to study. But we have different things we can go to. And if they can handle it, it gives us a slight advantage. So proud of them. Of course, defensive line, you've seen them the last couple of weeks. They've been lights out. They play hard. They play aggressive. We play a bunch of guys. They work hard in practice. If someone came and watched them practice, Coach Hagan and his guys do a great job. They work extremely hard. And then, like I said, I think
good to hear, man.
Being better in the coverage and making that quarterback hold a little bit longer allows them to shine even more. So at this point, through 6 games, they've done a really, really good job.
Jeff, you brought Evan Conley in for a couple plays. Just curious. What you kind of wanted to get out
Not
of
the
that.
Evan
One thing I didn't like.
Well, I think we want to have the ability for the quarterback to run the ball. We want to try to. Jack got hit a whole lot the last
The
game.
look on his face says it all.
Evan's a really good athlete. If I had to take it back, both calls, they Max zeroed it and blitzed us, and it's probably not a lot of room to run. So we have to have some different things off of that.
It's like I don't think I'll do that again.
That falls on me. But Evan's a really good athlete.
At least he takes ownership.
Put in multiple guys if we need
Yeah,
to.
very, very few complaints about
Jack,
tonight. But that third down Evan Conley run wasn't it, brother. I'm glad he's
consistent. He took care
That's
of the
basically
football.
what
he made
he
great
said.
decisions. He threw it away when he had
in
to.
the coach
was
speak, he
accurate.
just said that.
Just played a fantastic game.
Well, and let's talk about that for a second, real quick. So, and I said during the Discord during the game, I was not a fan of that third down Conley run. Partly because when we've run that, we've only run it with Conley. So I'm sure defense is probably going to pick up on that. And when they see 6 come in, it's going to be a quarterback run. So, and Jeff knows that. Jeff knows more about football than certainly I do. So I'm sure they'll probably go to that again. But I would like to see
not in that position. Hopefully,
well, I would like to see them run a pass out of that package. Like surely there's at least a pass or two out of that package with Evan, because if you're going to run that, you got to at least keep him honest. Because at this point, every time everyone sees Evan Conley come to the game, they know a quarterback run's coming. So
go Cards. Thanks for joining us. He said we need to play Mason Rager when he's been such a good player when he gets opportunities. The problem is he's been hurt. I don't think it's that we're just not playing him. He's been dealing with a nagging injury and he's in and out, he's on and off. Sometimes he plays, sometimes he's injured the whole game. So I'm just hoping he's over it now, because last time I thought he was over it, it re-aggravated itself, the injury. Him per year, I mean, those two in particular, when Dawson's healthy, which he didn't get to play tonight, he's another one that's in there making big plays. Of course, we know about Ashton. Stephen Herron's really good in the run game. I didn't hear his name called too much tonight, unless I missed it. But was he out there tonight?
He was out there.
Okay. But, I mean, you can't really say any of them played bad tonight, obviously. He probably made some plays. I just didn't hear his name. Perry went back in. That was great. Everybody thought everybody thought his kneecap fell out and rolled onto the field in our live chat. They thought that they thought he had a complete patella tendon just sitting out there, rolling around on the field. So it's good to know that it wasn't as bad as some people thought.
And obviously we don't have the full extent, or what happened to Ben Perry, but like we said, he did go back out there. He made the PBU on the game sealing interception. So definitely great that he got back out there, and hopefully we'll kind of get an update in the next week or two about what happened, if he'll be okay going forward.
Go Card said we did it great on the run, but we still need to hit the hard interior D line next year because we are small. Go Cards, I want to introduce you to a guy in our chat right now named Macro. You two are going to hit it off.
Yeah,
Macro doesn't go a single Third Banner Pod episode without mentioning that we need some 4-star, top 250 defensive tackles and transfers. So, but we joke with Macro, but he's right. It is the next step. It's the next step in this program. But I mean, tonight and so far this season, the defensive line has arguably been the biggest strength of our entire team. I mean, and it's crazy because I wouldn't have guessed that before the season. I thought they had potential to be decent. I wouldn't have guessed they'd be as good as they were. We all knew Ashton Gelati's a beast, but I mean, I didn't know these guys were going to be as good as they were in the interior in particular.
Jahar Jordan had a tough week last week versus NC State. They did a lot of run blitzes and things to make it difficult on him. Today, it seemed like, I don't know if Notre Dame wasn't ready for his speed, but just talk about how much better your offense is when he's out there making those type of runs.
Well, last week was on me. They were able to stack the box, and I didn't have enough answers. So we definitely wanted to try to fix that a little bit. So I thought our plan was better this week. Creating space for him is very important because if you can give him space, he's fast, he's elusive, he's quick, and he can go the distance. So I think, we had a couple of runs that didn't have a whole lot of room, but he popped it in there a few times early on. He stuffed it for a little while, and then we kind of came back in the second half and hit a couple big ones on a couple different calls we hadn't used yet. But he's a fantastic player. Once again, unselfish. We have other running backs too. He doesn't care who's in there. He just wants to win. But he was fantastic today as well.
And there you have it. That was Jeff Brohm, post-game presser.
He's probably ready to just rack out and go to bed.
Oh, yeah. He after that one.
You've earned it too, man. You've earned it. Hopefully your wife cooks you a good breakfast tomorrow. Thing is, knowing him, he'll get right to the Pittsburgh game film and try to hype that up. And, that's what you got to do. You can't give them any semblance that things aren't going to, that we need to take our foot off the gas at all. So that's something that I'm sure he'll have them ready for sure. But, great job tonight. Fan base, everybody got to attend. It was incredible. Like I said, I'm trying to keep my voice down a little bit, so it might sound like I'm putting y'all to sleep. That is not my intention. I got my stepdaughter behind me here, probably trying to snooze. And I was really loud during the game, like all of you were, I'm sure. Next step, 7-0, Slava says. Man, somebody asked, when can we start talking about college football playoffs as being a potential real possibility? Everybody's got their opinions. I think we need to get to 8-0. So we need to go to Pittsburgh, win that one. Then you get Duke, I think after a bye week, if I remember right. I think we have a bye week and then we play Duke. So if you win those two, You got 4 games left. Miami's going to be a tough one at Miami. You got UK at the end. They're going to be tough because they're a rival, but I feel good about that game.
It ain't gonna be tough. We got that.
I mean, I feel good about it, but I think Stoops and Brohm will both have them up. Miami, obviously, they lost tonight. I didn't get to see it, but somebody
By
was
the
saying they
way,
lost
that
on the very
was
last play.
it's worse than that. So
Yeah,
Miami
they should have run out the clock. They should have just
Miami had a
kneeled.
3-point lead with about 38 seconds left in a third down. Georgia Tech had no timeouts. A knee, if Miami had taken a knee, it would have won the game.
Oh
They
no!
ran the ball and the running back fumbled it. And Georgia Tech went and I think it was 70 yards in 26 seconds to win on the final play of the game.
Oh no! See,
it gives me flashback to you remember that Bobby Petrino play where all he had to do was run out the clock and he threw a pass. Was it Florida State that we were playing?
Yeah,
in that
Florida
game?
State. Juwan passed through it, and I was never a fan. Ty knows this. I was never a Juwan Pass fan. I wanted him benched like
Juwan
immediately.
didn't throw
No
a good
disrespect to the guy. He just wasn't ready.
Didn't throw it well there.
And he had him throw it. But yeah, that's crazy. Miami did that. They were undefeated. They had a chance at the playoffs. And I mean, you could still technically sneak in, maybe, but now you've made it a lot harder on yourself. That's tough, man.
I don't know what Miami fans are feeling, but
Aaron, welcome to the pod tonight, man.
Mario Cristobal.
Did you get to go to the game? Yeah. Look, Go Cards and Macro talking about the defense.
They're already best buds.
Guys might want to exchange contact information. Yeah. Y'all can roll out a list of, hey, we'll talk about on the pod if you want to roll out a list of 4-star defensive tackle prospects that we need to be looking at.
Hey, we're gonna have to go back to Louisville football on Twitter. They're just rolling out the content right now. Let me pull this back up.
Louisville football Twitter, Twitter, man.
While you're doing that, I'm just gonna roll through the schedule here. We got Pitt,
they're really good.
Duke, Virginia Tech, Virginia, Miami, and Kentucky. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying we should win 5 games out of that.
Hopefully. I really want to see how we play at Pitt after such a big game. Not that I think Pitt's good, but that's part of the problem almost. Of course, yeah, can you get up for that game? It'll be interesting.
All right. Let's see.
Sounds not working.
I mean, because if we lost to Pitt, Virginia Tech, or Virginia, I think every one of us would be upset by that.
Okay, what's going on?
I'm just trying to find our right thing. I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just changed it.
What? How can you not smile at that now? Okay. That is a great victory. All right. A great victory. You guys earned it. You worked for it. All right. You went out there and you played your tail off for 64 minutes, came out in the second half. The game was tight. Defense made all kinds of plays. Offense started to execute. Great things happen. Great things happen. I'm telling you what. How can you not smile at that now? Okay. That is a great victory. All right. A great victory. You guys earned it. You worked for it. All right. You went out there and you played your tail off for 64 minutes, came out in the second half. When the game was tight, defense made all kinds of plays. Offense started to execute. Great things happen.
What a great scene there.
By the way, for those that saw our episode, and I clipped it on X, and I put about why you should be able to storm the field. I want to revisit that now. Do people still feel so strongly that it's classless to storm the field? I'm just curious because there was a lot of you. And I know one person felt like they were called out in particular, and that is the person that generated the conversation. I did not call him out or anybody individually, but the idea that it's classless to storm the field, that we should be better than that. How can you look at what happened tonight and how it went down and say that? There's no way. And I guarantee you every single person that was on that field, I wish I could have been there. Like I said, I had a wedding, but I bet every person, they have no regrets. Aaron B right now, I was on the field and it was fun. I'll never regret it. After I said no regrets, he's literally writing it. He has no regrets about it because why would you, man? And for some people, that's their first positive, like amazing moment. The Florida State game, was 7 years ago. I mean, some people argued, and they made the right point. I said we haven't won a top 10 game at home in forever, and then they all corrected me and said Wake Forest last year, which is technically
Does that
correct.
count? Wake Forest count? Come on.
Technically correct, but yeah, it's kind of like when we
it
beat
doesn't
Wake
feel the
Forest.
same.
It's kind of like when we beat Wake Forest in the Orange Bowl. We won a BCS game, but it was Wake Forest, and
It doesn't hit the same.
I don't mean that disrespectfully, Wake Forest, but I mean it's like if
You're
Louisville
Wake
was ranked
Forest.
number
He
10.
means it disrespectfully. Screw you, Wake Forest.
I just mean like if Louisville was ranked number 7 and Oklahoma beat
It's
us,
like
and they were kind of, and they
no
had.
offense. You're gonna offend. But.
Well, let me just say, like if Louisville was ranked number 7 and Oklahoma beat us, they're not going to rush the field because it's not. We don't have that name yet, so I'm not biased. It's like, but Wake Forest is in the same boat. Like, yeah, they were number 10. I'm not counting that as like a storm the field win.
It's like in basketball. If we were to go up there to DePaul and somehow they're in the top 15, and we beat them, we're not gonna go. Oh, we beat a top 15 team. Like,
yeah,
it's not the same.
There's levels to this, and some of it is the name, but Notre Dame, and it's a good Notre Dame team. I'm curious to see how they play USC next week. Is it possible that they just feel like they've been beat up? They've had night game after night game, prime time. It's possible they roll in there like a wounded duck and flounder it around, and but it's also possible we see the Notre Dame that we think they are. I still think Notre Dame's every bit as legit as they were before this game. I don't think at all that it was that Notre Dame is overrated, as one of my buddies in a group text for another fan base said. And I was like, dude, I'm not hearing that crap. I don't know if he was trolling me or being serious, but I wasn't hearing it, man. Not with their running attack, not with a veteran quarterback, a stout offensive line and defensive line, and a beast of a tight end who actually played really well in the second half.
Yeah, he was hurting
despite us trying our best to stop him, and Ben Perry did an admirable job. But those guys have some players, man. We beat a good team, and it's okay to say that. I just don't like when people are like, well, maybe they're, it's kind of like in basketball when they chant overrated when they're at the free throw line and you beat a really good team. Like, well, do you suck? Is that what you're saying? Maybe it's that you're just better than what they thought. And I think we're better than what people thought, myself included, because I waffled back and forth on this game. Some days I felt like we could beat them. Other day, like today, I just had this horrible feeling. And I thought, I don't think we're going to be able to do it. I looked on paper and I thought, this is a really good Notre Dame team. But Jeff Brohm, once again, versus a top 10 team, shouldn't even doubt him at this point.
I know it's easy to say that I wasn't on the show this past week, and I know it's easy to say in hindsight. And I didn't give any official predictions or anything, scores, but I always felt like we were going to win this game. I just feel like with Jeff Brohm here, I feel like we have a chance to win every game. And I think he proved it tonight. There's been a lot of us that have, not me, but there's been a lot of Louisville fans that have been not necessarily, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, not pessimistic or nervous, but skeptical, I guess is what I'm trying to say, of him and his record and how that would translate here. And I was never one of those. I was always a firm believer that when Jeff got here, it might take a year or two, but I thought he would get this place rolling. And I honestly didn't think he would be doing this in year one, but going forward, I feel like we have a chance to win every game. I think we have a really talented team. The defense has been phenomenal. They've been phenomenal. The offense has its moments. The offense will click more, I think, as the season goes on. And I think with this coaching staff, they're fully capable of winning any game.
Go Carr says, shout out to Quincy Riley and Jarvis Brownlee. This may be our best cornerback duo in a very long time. No disrespect to Jair, though. Yeah, Jair individually was Jair.
Don't forget Storm Duck too. Like, Storm Duck is great as well.
Well, I want to touch on those two in particular. I don't know why, but in our Discord at least, and I'm sure this isn't just our Discord, but it seems like Quincy Riley gets a pass when Jarvis Brownlee does not. Ever. If Jarvis Brownlee gets burned one time, it's, oh my God, Jarvis Brownlee got burned again. When are they going to take Brownlee? And it's always him. And it's like, what are you watching? And I think that Florida State game last year when he had a really bad game has just like been imprinted into some people's minds. Jarvis Brownlee's a beast. And he's not just a beast as a cornerback either. He gets after it in a run game like very few cornerbacks do. He's a big physical guy who is not afraid to lay his body out there. And sometimes I'm even afraid he's going to get injured. Like when he hit a teammate tonight, one time he just like tore. He had a couple guys. A teammate was about to run through him because he's big and powerful. And then Jarvis just runs in there like a torpedo and pelts him to death. Finally knocks him on the ground. And it's like, Jarvis is a big physical guy. And he gave up one big play today. Big whoop-de-freaking do. And on that play, by the way, when the people in Discord were like, Jarvis sucks, he's getting burned again, we brought the house. And somehow Sam Hartman still had like 4 seconds to throw the ball. So anytime you do that, you're going to have somebody break free. It doesn't matter who the cornerback is. Jarvis Brownlee is every bit as good as Quincy Riley and vice versa. They're both really good cornerbacks to UL Card's point, or to Go Card's point, excuse me. Really good cornerbacks. We're very, very lucky to have them. And I'm just thankful we've got some guys in the wings. I think that will also be very good in the future, like Washington, and you got MGK, Killebrew back there. I think we got some good cornerbacks in the future lined up. But I don't even want to look at them right now because these two guys in particular, and then you add in the Storm Ducks. Devin Neal had an interception tonight. He's had a really solid year. He's another transfer that you can point at from the portal. He was at Baylor, and he was okay there, but nothing great. He comes here kind of like how Frierson did, and he's found a niche. He's found a place. And you got to remember, arguably our best defensive player on the roster got hurt in the preseason, fall camp, and he's out for the entire season. People forget that now because we're playing so well on defense. But imagine if we had him back there at the safety position. He was a game changer. Now, we all remember last year the defense did a 180, and he was a huge part of that. So props to Brownlee, props to Riley, props to the coaching staff, Storm Duck, Devin Neal, of course, Cameron Kelly. It just seems like we got a bunch of dudes, and we really did knock it out of the park in the transfer portal.
Yeah, and that's a lot of. I know we talked about the lack of trick plays tonight, and in the Discord throughout the game and on the show tonight.
I'm glad we won without them.
That's what I was going to say. Is like I'm actually kind of glad. It makes our win even more satisfying because we just lined up across from them and smashed them right in the mouth. Like Macro says here, the Notre Dame is a physical team. The running backs and O-line are legit NFL guys. We punched them in the mouth, and they didn't fight. They weren't able to fight back. I mean, we just put them down.
Go Cards. Think about our live Discord. We have a Discord and people in the live chat. I mean, the live game reactions are, we all have extreme reactions, myself included. But Jarvis, I will say, even beyond the game threads, for whatever reason, people I think that Florida State game from last year, they just can't get out of their head. So they continue to bring, anytime he gets burned, I think it gives them a flashback to that game. But the play he got burned on, we brought the house and did not get to Sam Hartman. So, I can't even really put that one on Jarvis too much. He played a great game, man. They all did. The whole damn defense. I can't even like Stephen Hare not getting a tackle, but I mean, I can't look at any guys out there and I mean maybe they just didn't go to his side very much. I don't know because I didn't feel like I saw him whiffing out there. So it's like we brought it tonight. I mean, the defense in particular. I mean, and how big was it to keep Coach Ivey, man? And I mean, I know it's not just him. I know you got Hagan back there, obviously Ron English. But I think keeping Coach Ivey, keeping a guy who saw what bringing pressure did to last year's team and what being aggressive does, I think it had to help, man. And the players just love him to death. They believe in him. They get hyped up for him.
That's a good point.
It's huge, man. And he's got those Florida connections. I mean, he's a good recruiter. He's a great, the guys want to play for him. I mean, this defense right now, if you would have told me in Jeff Brom's first year our defense would be as good as it's been in the first half of the season, I would have never bought it. Never believed it. No disrespect.
Yeah.
I just never seen it before now, not even at Western.
Yeah, and then speaking of smashing Notre Dame back in the mouth, that play where Rieger just knocked that lineman, I forget his name,
rolled right over him.
He just pancaked that dude back on his ass and got to Hartman. I mean, that was a play.
And speaking of smashing, we have Mark Ennis is having quite the night on his post game. Shout out Mark Ennis. He's a big time listener of Third Banner Podcast, but this is one of the comments that happened on Mark's post game show.
I can't see it.
Well, this is the comment, and then I'll go back to Mark's. Can you see it?
No, I mean, I can't see it. It's too small.
Oh, okay. Well, let me zoom in here.
I can read it, but
and then Mark had to say,
"The game is over. The scoring is not."
So, shout out Mark Ennis, a big time supporter of Third
There's
Banner
going to be
congratulations.
What month? We're in October. There's going to be a lot of July babies.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of July babies,
There
July
will be.
2024 in the Louisville metro area. Let's just say that. It's going to be going down. Rightfully so. There's going to be a lot of future cards. Hopefully, we got a few. Hopefully, we'll get some good genes in there. Maybe get a few future recruits. I'm sure I can think of a certain website that probably posts a couple articles come next year for they like to post about guys that are 5-6 years out, 7 years out. So nonetheless, there'll be a lot of babies running around, a lot of newborns in July next year.
Future Cards fans.
Oh man, Doc, welcome in, man. I'm sure you had a blast. Sorry I couldn't be there with you.
Couldn't meet at the statue.
Couldn't meet at the statue, among other places, or at the collision course. But hey, God, man, you guys, I can't get over how awesome you guys were at that game.
I know, just different plays just keep popping up in my head. Like oh,
they're talking in chat. They're talking about chat about who between Deuce and Pierce. Go Cards. It's a great question. I'm gonna say Pierce has the advantage of being in the program, and also, he has the pedigree and he brings a good skill set. I'm a huge fan of Deuce, though. I am a huge fan of Deuce, and I think he's being very slept on. I think he possesses traits that I rarely see quarterbacks possess. Now, does that transfer into college? That's the question. Does his high school productivity, does it translate for? I think he's got the right mindset. I think he's got the right support system around him. But, you never know. You just never know. So I would say Pierce probably has a little bit of the advantage. Let's see. Harrison Bailey's in there. Yeah, he's in there. Brady Allen. Starting to wonder a little bit about Brady Allen because he has all the tools and it seems like he's kind of down on the depth chart. So I don't know.
There's a lot of competition. I mean,
maybe he puts it together though. And if you put a gun to my head and say you're going to die or you have to pick quarterback next year, I'd probably say Pierce right now. But it wouldn't surprise me, and that's why I sit on their pod and caught some heat for it. But it wouldn't surprise me if Deuce at some point next year became a starting quarterback. And then there's always a possibility Jeff Brohm hits the portal and decides he wants another experienced guy. So, you just never know with that
that's
part.
kind of what I think will probably happen, but you never know.
Doc says, don't talk to me. Yeah, I got you, man.
To give Notre Dame a little bit of props, how about the boot on that kicker? Gosh.
Dang. Man. I'll get Notre Dame a lot of props. I think they're a good football team.
That's just something that popped in my head. That dude could kick.
I will say, I bet their fans are kicking and screaming about their coach going for it at their own 35-yard line when we had 9 minutes left in the game. And, I think they still had a legit shot to win the game.
Yeah,
I don't know.
A touchdown there.
That was a stupid decision.
I don't know if that was
I would've been
arrogance
screaming at
or
Jeff
if that
Brohm when he
was
did that.
coaching
We would have
malpractice.
been mad.
Well, and then
Sorry,
when we
what'd you say,
called the
Ty?
timeout, because we were so caught off guard, we called timeout. I'm thinking, well, this gives him time to get the punt unit out there. Nope. I mean, I'm all for being pretty ballsy. So it's like, I'd rather have a ballsy coach than one that's always conservative. But man, that just
He
seemed
had
like,
no reason to go for it there,
no,
though.
not right there. He
That's what I'm
panicked.
saying.
He
I don't know.
panicked, Ty. He
I
didn't
don't
think
know
he
if
could
that
stop
was.
us.
I don't know if that was arrogance or just coaching malpractice
No,
because that was
I
unbelievable.
think he thought that their defense was cooked because they did just give up a couple of big scores and Jawar Jordan was starting to run ramshed. So I think he thought if I give them the ball back at like the 30-yard line, we're cooked and they're going to go down there and score again. And so we have to keep our offense out there. But my God, instead you gave it to us at the 35. Let us run a couple more minutes off the clock and kick a field goal. It just seemed like Slava.
He did.
He did smirk. Ty thinks he smirked. I think he smirked more because he was just like, my God, another night game. What can you do? But
I never took it as a slight.
I didn't take it as a slight, but Ty did. And I know some other people kind of thought he was smirking like it's not worthy of being a night game. Hard to know.
I guess we have to kick Doc out of the Discord now because if he taught Notre Dame's kicker everything, then why is he at Notre Dame?
Oh yeah, no kidding. You didn't teach him how to pick the right school, Doc.
True.
You just set yourself up for failure on that one. No wonder you don't want me to talk to
cards.
Yeah, we scored more on Notre Dame than Ohio State. That's the thing, man. I mean, they should have beat Ohio State. Doc, you backtracking.
Too late, Doc.
Oh man. But and if you're a Notre Dame fan, maybe those face masks, you have a problem with them. But I mean, they were face masks. They were.
Yeah.
It's rare that they call those on the offense, but it was the right call.
Well, in the one, they
kept saying it was a little bit of a face mask to the commentators. The one dude was dragged all the way to the ground by his face mask. That's a little bit. I don't want to see a lot of it. You have to take the damn helmet home with you.
In one of them, like, I know people, there's no such thing as makeup calls, but they missed a very clear, in my opinion, defensive PI on Notre Dame.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
true.
and I thought that was pretty blatant, and they didn't call it, and then the face mask came in like a play or two after. So
yeah,
you can't really be too mad about it.
And the face mask was the right call. I'll be the first one to say if we got a break, we didn't get a break. I think that targeting the NC State got was kind of BS. So I mean, I'm not afraid to, but I mean, I think that as far as those face masks go, face mask is a face mask. But I can see them complaining about that. I mean, the petty ones, But I'll say this: Notre Dame fans kind of remind me a little bit of the Florida fans before the Sugar Bowl. Just irrelevant. We just, that we're obnoxious, irrelevant. Who cares? But I mean, look, you have to look at what we did tonight as far as a crowd, and you have to give some props. Don't be that guy who doesn't give props. If you guys would have won the game, you would have won the game, but you didn't. And the atmosphere was electric. And be proud, Notre Dame. We don't get, trust me, Louisville fans are a fickle group in football games as far as attendance. It takes a lot to get a group like that together, a rowdy group. So consider yourselves a worthy opponent of such things. We don't get up like that for everybody, unfortunately. That's a pause. But nonetheless, so don't take that as don't take that as us being amateur or whatever. Take it as a compliment to your program. Half the Cavs team was there. That's true. Man, the amount of people there. Like I said earlier, Katie George, Jeff Brohm, and Jack Harlow all in a picture together when Katie George is interviewing Jeff Brohm. Just three local legends. And I mean, my eyes were more on Katie George, but I mean, no offense to Jeff or Jack. I like both of you, but I mean, come on now, it's Katie George. That might be other than the win, that might be the best part of the night.
Can we talk about Sam Hartman for a second? Sam Hartman will never have to pay for another beer the rest of his life in the city of Louisville.
Nick Sorrell said Sam Hartman's the best player to ever play at Louisville.
And I think Mark Ennis said that we should retire Sam Hartman's jersey as well. So
oh, Mark Ennis is probably having himself a day just knowing how he is.
Mark's having a day on Twitter. He's got Twitter on lock tonight. He's having a night.
Oh my.
Well, and from what it looked like on TV, it didn't look like it was an overwhelming number of Notre Dame fans there.
No, I mean there was some, but I mean that's a big
no more than what any other prominent, big historical football team would bring.
No, I mean you got to expect some Notre Dame fans to be there a lot, but I mean, my God, you couldn't have got much louder. I mean, I could tell when the Joker and the Thief came on, and the commentators put a spotlight on it. When the fourth quarter started, they said, this place is absolutely going bananas. That's the thing for those of you that were at the game. From the moment the pregame show started, the announcers, the play-by-play guy, who were the announcers tonight? I don't know.
Joe Tessitore and Jordan Rogers.
Joe Tessitore and Jordan Rogers. They hyped the crowd. They hyped you guys up from the moment that they got on the air, man. They were like, this crowd is electric tonight, and all night long. Honestly, Notre Dame fans are probably like you know how as Louisville fans you get the commentators drooling for the other team, and it's really annoying. You're like, man, they're probably wearing, Boston College. That's a horrible example. They're probably wearing Clemson jerseys underneath their suits. We said that a lot. I feel like we were that team tonight, and I could see where Notre Dame fans would be sick of it because they were pumping you guys up. And then when the Joker and the Thief, yeah, and the Joker and the Thief, I know when it came on, always comes on at the end of the third quarter before the fourth quarter. Y'all must have just really knocked out of the park because they couldn't believe it when they got back on the air. They were like, "This is insane." And they were showing all of you guys, the camera was zoomed in on everybody going crazy. It was awesome. It the vibe bled through my TV. I was jumping with you guys.
I yelled so many times, and my wife was kind of getting annoyed by it. I could tell because she was tired and in the bedroom, and she was just like, "Man, quit yelling."
I'm glad they showed Jeff's pre-game speech too in the locker room.
That was cool. I'm glad they gave him access to that.
Yeah,
I'm glad Jeff.
I knew the game was over for Notre Dame as soon as they showed that speech. I knew it was over.
Man, I'll tell you what. Just like I said, there's going to be a lot of new babies next July 2024 in the Louisville metro area. There's also going to be a lot of husbands sleeping on couches tonight. It's either one or the other. You probably either pissed your wife off if she's not a big sports fan, or you're going to score on top of what Louisville scored tonight. So it'll be more than 33 points by the time you go to sleep tonight for some of you. Just make sure you get that 2-point conversion.
We're not gonna.
I'm not gonna say what that entails because I really don't know. I'm just kind of rolling with it. Oh man! So if anybody's new to the pod tonight, if anybody's joined us for the first time tonight, or if you just keep joining and you haven't subscribed, which would be a sin in and of itself on this Sunday morning, please like and subscribe to the Third Banner Pod. We just played a Catholic team and we beat the crap out of them. We've got to repent. So don't add to your sin count by not subscribing to our channel. Come on now.
Macro, I think we'd all be happy with that.
Yeah. That's another thing. I mean, not that I care too much about what UK is doing, but they got the crap beat out of them. That's just like a little sprinkling on the the cake's great.
The cherry on top.
The cherry on top. It's like you got all the proper ingredients and you just put that little cherry on there. UK getting their asses kicked tonight. That's good. It's great. You hate to see it, but you love to see it.
Who do you guys got tomorrow, Coke Cards?
Oh no, Ty's gonna.
Who do the Jets got, Ty?
We got Denver, and
I
that's
haven't looked at the schedule at all.
the Nathaniel Hackett game, so that'll be intriguing to watch. Go Cards, I see your comment about the Bengals winning. If Joe Burrow trots out there again, good luck with that.
Oh shit! I'm not making it up for the Bills game. I didn't realize they were playing Jacksonville.
And yeah, they're playing in London, right?
Yeah,
That's
the
the London
game's
game.
at 8:30, so I'm not gonna make it up in time.
I know
for
we're
that.
kind of wrapping it up here. Did anybody watch the Toy Story game?
No.
Oh,
No,
my
but
God,
my niece sent it to us all and was like, dude, looks like an awesome football game.
It was-
Actually, it looks really horrible because I was
it
thinking
was-
of the matchup. I was
it
like,
was
looks
so bad in the beginning, and then it became kind of cool. But the Falcons just, oh my God,
terrible.
They could have picked a better matchup for that.
Is Dave
but
Ragone still their OC?
I think so, but I think Arthur Smith calls more of the plays.
Remember when everybody thought he was going to be our next coach? There's
Thank
a
God.
lot of bickering
Thank God
about
that
that.
didn't happen. No disrespect to
No
Dave Ragone,
disrespect
but
to a Louisville great.
no disrespect, but thank Christ that didn't happen.
There were people that were adamant. They're like, Dave Ragone is going to be the guy.
And I'm like, yeah, please.
It kind of
no
reminded me
thanks.
of Kenny Payne, which we're not going to go there either. So we're going
Yeah.
to keep this football. But I do. Pepperidge Farms remembers when Dave Ragone was going to be our next coach.
Pepperidge Farms remembers.
Just a real quick, some ranked action still going on. USC is number 9 in the country. They are tied with Arizona with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. 28-28.
Boy, if they lose and Notre Dame loses.
If they lose, Notre Dame loses.
That'll be an interesting matchup next week.
Well, yeah, I didn't even think about that, but also there's more spots for us that we could possibly move up to.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome. Lawson Clips, thanks for joining us. I've seen you in here for a while commenting. He said afterwards, Notre Dame coach Freeman said nobody has affected our quarterback like Louisville did. So that's a hell of a compliment.
Yeah, that is
good. I mean, we all saw, we know that, but it's cool to see it acknowledged. Like, hey, they did a hell of a job,
Oh, Mike Price points out something that we've all not mentioned. We are bowl eligible.
I thought about that earlier before we got on, but then I forgot.
We're thinking bigger and better things.
Good sunny post there, Mike.
We're thinking 40-0, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I got my T-shirt ready.
Got my T-shirt ready.
Oh, hey, just beat Pitt, even if it's by 1 point. Just win that game. I hope it's by a lot more than that, but I'm just saying, like,
it's on the
get
road.
out of there. On the road, it's a hangover game. It's a hangover game. It could be. And I mean, Jeff Brohm said he's ready. He's already kind of talking to the guys about it, but ultimately, it's got to sink in. So, I've seen coaches beat it till they're, scream till they're blue in the face about it, keeping locked in, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. So we got to hope our guys have the right leadership. Brian Hudson, those guys, got to keep them focused. And hopefully we don't have any lingering injuries. Ben Perry went down. He ended up coming back in the game. But sometimes you see those guys come back in the game and then they're out the next game. So, I mean, we need to watch for that. I'd love to have Dawson back. Hopefully Mason Rigger can stay healthy. It seems like when he comes back in for a game, then he's out the next game. And we need these guys to stay healthy.
Yep.
Get past Pitt, get to the bye week. Get to the bye week 7-0.
Stay focused. As fans, we're going to have to stay focused because next week's game is going to be broadcast on the CW network. So it's going to be.
Here we go.
It's going to be.
Nobody's going to go ahead and say a tie.
We're going to be in between those Charmed and Buffy the Vampire Slayer reruns. You won't be able to catch post game on the CW because they'll be replaying season 3 of Smallville.
Stephen Amell is going to come out and do the coin toss.
Yeah. It'll be
Look, I can't.
the CW network, bro. Come on. I thought we were doing so good when Bally Sports disappeared, and now here we are.
Hey, isn't that how Marvel got its what's
next?
notoriety?
Comedy Central.
It's like, is Jeff Brohm going to come out there like this next new Marvel character? Right? Is it going to be shirtless Jeff Brohm from Top Gun?
Oh. I just remembered the CW network next week. That's yeah, go cards. What the hell is CW? We don't know either. I just know they replay Smallville
I
all the
didn't
time.
know that they ever. We might as well be on a Lifetime channel. Like I
Does
have
YouTube
no idea
TV
what they're
even
doing.
have this? I'm about to look right now.
I think we're on the Hallmark channel when we play.
I think it does
Virginia
because
Tech.
Cincinnati was on the CW earlier this year, and I watched it. But
hey, I think we're on the Hallmark channel against Virginia Tech, boys.
Oh, come on!
Oh God!
right in between I Love Lucy and Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
Hokey High.
Oh God! Oh.
I can't breathe.
Dude, I'm looking at the CW network, what they've been playing. This is
CW.
I don't know how they're gonna make time for us.
I don't even know if I have the CW network. Oh my
God. If you have YouTube TV, you're in luck.
I do have YouTube TV.
So
It's funny I have it. I didn't even know I had it. That's
I only knew I had it because Cincinnati was on it earlier this year, and I wanted to watch one of their games that was on there.
Is this the first football game they've ever showed? Like they're like, you know what?
It is the first season. I'm pretty sure.
We got to get on the map, and we're going to start with Louisville versus Pittsburgh. That's the game.
I can't wait until the announcers midway. Louisville just scores and after stay tuned to the CW network after the game for Smallville season 2.
Yeah. At halftime, we're gonna have like a new trailer come out. Be sure to tune in at halftime.
They're gonna replay that 1997 trailer for Charmed, dude. Oh God.
Oh, I can't.
The CW network.
Oh, I can't do this right now. Look at the commenters; they're dedicated to talking about the actual game that happened tonight. We've completely
we're so far gone from the actual game. We're onto the CW network trolling. Ugh.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I bet.
Well, imagine what we're going to be doing on Wednesday.
Oh man! I bet Virginia Tech fans are pumped for the Hallmark game.
It's awesome. I didn't even know CW was still a thing. We didn't either, dude. We didn't either until this week. Yeah, I don't know. There's I don't even know what you say to that. Like,
well, and when I was looking to see what channel the Cincinnati game that I wanted to watch on was the Yahoo app, it'll say like what the TV channel is underneath the game, and it just said, it didn't say the CW network, it just said the network. And so I put on Twitter, I was like, what the hell is this? And finally a bunch of Bearcat fans replied to me saying it's a CW network. But it literally just said the network.
Oh God.
Let me see if I can find it.
I can't do this. Cut it off.
Oh. Do we do commercial breaks here? We might need one.
Oh my God. I don't
Oh no, it didn't even say the network, it just said the. It says today at 5:30 p.m. on the.
They just use it as
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah.
What would be the ultimate channel to have a game?
How is Jeff Brohm going to prepare our players to play a game that he knows is on the CW network? This might be his biggest coaching hurdle he's had in coaching history. Like, you think beating Ohio State at Purdue was big. You think beating Notre Dame tonight. Like, he's got to go into Pittsburgh knowing that it's going to be on the CW. I mean, he's going to have to dress as a Marvel character.
Do you think the CW has like a college game day?
Like a chick flick type thing. I don't know. They're going to have a skit. I don't know how he's going to do it, man. But he's got to keep his guys locked in.
Do you think the CW has like a college game day version on the CW and they have like Alyssa Milano as a host?
Sarah Michelle Gellar is like a Katie George.
Oh, crap.
Now we're going to sideline report with Sarah Michelle Gellar also known as Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh, I can't even believe there's still 20 people watching us right now.
I don't know how anybody has followed the last 10 minutes because this is just
it's probably the most
derailed.
entertaining we've ever been.
This is totally derailed.
Oh my god.
I shouldn't have
Or we
brought
just
up
lost
the CW.
one. Somebody was like, yeah, I'm done.
Not watching these
Calling
idiots laugh about the CW. My
Yeah.
favorite channel.
Guest picker Aquaman. How are we gonna do this next week?
Dude, no.
Oh my god. You know we're clipping this. We gotta clip this. It's gotta go on. We gotta clip this. It's going on Twitter. Or X or whatever they call themselves. The network.
The network.
I'm glad somebody is.
Yeah.
God, I think Jeff Brohm's gonna have to catch up on some Pretty Little Liars episodes to really get a vibe for what he's walking into.
Oh,
on
man.
Saturday.
You know how the cardinal bird would skydive in with the ball? They're gonna have Superman fly it.
Oh my god. All right. Well, you know what? We're getting close to 2 a.m. Big win tonight. We could do this all night until we pass
really
out,
could.
which I'm about
We really
to.
could.
So, guys, I appreciate y'all joining. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And man, I can't breathe. Earlier, I could hardly talk because I was yelling so loud. Now I can't breathe because I was laughing so hard. But anyway, guys, celebrate. Like I said, expect a bunch of new babies in July. And also expect a bunch of men sleeping on the couch tonight because they pissed off their wives. So until next time, thank you for joining us tonight on the Third Banner Pod. We will see you Wednesday at 9:00 to talk about the pit game. Go
All right.
Cards.
Good night, guys.
Go Cards. Go Cards.
Go
Like and
Green.
subscribe, everybody.